Hello again, everybody. Welcome back in. So in this edition of the Forerunner News, we're just briefly going to go over some of the updates that just rolled out this week here. And this is something that you're most likely going to see get added to the global server in the next patch. All right. First thing is first. Let's go to Nerissa. Nerissa had her fourth awakening reworked. So previously, it said that her fourth awakening gave her 8% penetration. Well, they changed that. So I think that this is better. It's going to give her an additional 5% attack. Given that she gives inspiration to her heroes, we might as well have them do the damage, right? And then she doesn't have to worry about doing damage, whatever damage she can do, and then getting penetration from it. So I'd rather take that 5 extra percent, make her a little bit better in that regard, in terms of boosting the heroes around her damage output. So that's one change. The other change has to do with the Titanic Ruins here for both Apocalypse 1 and Apocalypse 2. Now in both stages, you'll be able to do playtest, and in addition, when you do complete a run on the actual manual run, it's going to save the gear and the artifacts that you had in your heroes. So you're just going to then be able to come in, auto fight the weeks following, and it'll just record it. Okay. So again, want to emphasize this. They gave you the playtest. Some players were asking for a playtest feature, but even if you complete the run here, it won't save your gear and artifacts. You're going to, if you're happy with what you saw on the playtest, you're going to have to come in into the fight feature here and then click start and do your run manually. And then once you get it to the stage that you want to get it in, it'll save it. Okay, it'll save your gear, it'll save your information, it'll save your artifacts, and then you'll be able to come in, run auto fight, and it'll do the whole thing for you week after week until you change it again. So that is the kind of the yin and yang of this. They gave you something that you want, but it won't really behave like it does, especially when it comes to something like Drake's Chasm, because we can do the play test, save it, and then come in and do the auto fight. And it's not going to be applicable in the Titanic Ruins. So you're going to have to then keep that in mind when you start playtesting. So I imagine the playtest, just use it to see how you can do the first stages and if it's going to be able to be durable enough, I guess, and then come in and do your fight and then just rerun your thing and then save it, and you should be fine for the remaining of the weeks until you decide to change your composition. Another update that they have done here is in the Maurex Halls of Illusion. So what they decided to do is that after the final wave, or at the final, they're going to add a 90-second timer, a 90-second stage timer, where you're going to see the timer rolled out, and then as soon as it's done, then it'll go into the calculation phase. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm at the end of the run. We're going to get to the last wave. I want to see where this timer, I want to show you where the timer gets activated. And then you can kind of then see exactly what they mean by we have a 90-second timer that is activated, and this will go to the calculation phase. So that's exactly what we're just going to wait for here and let this thing end. And then we'll see what they mean by it. So this should be the last set of Demon Soldiers. And then we'll look to see. So here we go. Here's the last wave. And then we should see a 90-second timer. There it goes. There we go. You see that? It turned red here. So as soon as that 90-second timer expires, then it'll go to the calculation phase, and then we'll be done with the run. That's exactly what they mean by that. So I want to see what happens here. So I'm wondering if this is in some situations because we had those demon soldiers that add the poison to the screen and then it would just hang. So see, it went to 0. We did not kill everybody, but it went into the calculation phase. So I think it's just after you're done with the final wave and there's just something lingering around and you have to recall back something, they just said we're adding a 90-second timer. They clicked on, and once that timer is done, regardless of what's left on the field, it just will then go to the calculation phase. And that's exactly what you can look forward to now with that, uh, just in case there was something going on at the end of the run that require you to move things around again, just to make sure that you finished it. We're also going to be adding more achievements for us to complete. So I was looking for the Malrek Souls of Illusions, and these are the two that, at least for me, were new. So we have the perfect try list, and then we have the flawless try list. So essentially, here with the perfect one, if it's a Mossy Crystal 3 legendary or above, and you clear it by eliminating all the monsters, you're going to get some augmentation gems and a perfect try list medal. Then with the flawless try list is Mossy Crystal 4 or above, legendary rarity or above, and then you got to eliminate all the monsters, you get a variant gem, and then you'll get these flawless trials medals. So those are two that I just found. The also other ones had to do with campaign demon soldier. Let's see, campaign guild ward and demon soldier. So when I click here on progress, at least for me, was obtain 1200 stars in campaign stages. You're gonna get a divine crystal out of that. You're gonna get a medal. There was the other one that I noticed was own 50 hero skins. You're gonna get 2 ancient crystals out of that. And then there's this warlord 2 that I just noticed that popped up. Own 25 demon soldiers at level 7 or above, and then you get credit for that. You get 1500 guild coins out of that. Aside from that, I didn't notice any other ones that were new this round, but those are the ones that I imagine that are the ones that we're going to be keeping track for here in the global server when this does get updated. So that's kind of the new ones there. And lastly, the last thing here is, let me go to my hero interface, because this is, I don't know if this is something the players were asking for. They just needed more room for it. But as you can see here, I'm at 570, which used to be the previous high, the previous cap for how many heroes you could have, right? Well, now we can get 200 more. So for those of you that want to spend the 1200 gems to unlock 1200 or 200 extra slots, that's going to be available to you. So now the cap will be 770 if you're one of those players that cleared everything with the Odyssey, the quests, the storyline quest, the Odyssey quest, and we're able to, get as much of your Hyperion done. So with all of these, with the previous set that we had, and now the additional 200, you're going to be able to have 770 hero slots if that is what you need. All right, folks, that'll do it for this video. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. I will see you all in the next Watch Our Runs video.